Hey there, good morning. It is Friday morning. I'm just going to open my screen. There we go, that's better. And good morning and welcome to Getting Started with Essential Oils. So whether you've already tried oils or maybe you haven't tried oils yet and you're curious, you've been hearing about them for years, maybe you've been working with them for a while but you just want a little refresher, this is going to be a pretty compact class on getting started with essential oils. So what are we going to do in this class? The goals of this class are, I'm going to talk a little bit about what are essential oils, how to use them safely and effectively, and then how can you get these oils into your home. So I'm going to just start a little bit telling you real quickly about my journey with essential oils. I've been using essential oils for probably over 5 years, and I've been with the Doterra company for 3.5 years as a wellness advocate, which basically means that I train people and educate people on how to use oils and show them how to get them into their homes and how to use them safely and effectively for a lot of things that people deal with. When I was introduced to essential oils, I was in the process of really detoxing my entire home, health, life, body, surroundings to really optimize my health, my and my family's health. And I've used them for a million things, which I will not get into every use here because it can be a little overwhelming when you're just getting started. But the things I use them for on a pretty daily basis are, of course, supplements. They're in a lot of the supplements that I take. Allergies. I have a lot of environmental allergies here in Los Angeles, and I use a series of breathe products that really help clear that up and clear up the sinuses and that sinus drip. And then just for overall immunity, just regular immunity. And I have to say, it's been a very long time since I've had any sort of cold or flu or sickness or illness, knock on wood. So those are the things and cleaning. I use them all over the house for cleaning products. And we have pets, and so I feel safe because if they're going to lick the floor or lick things, I know that the surfaces of my home are virus and bacteria free and also chemical free. So that's the main reasons why I got started with them. As I've been building my doTERRA team, I've seen people use them successfully in so many different ways for sleep or digestion, for psoriasis, skin conditions, menopause or PMS kind of conditions, immunity, just a million things. So as you're watching this, maybe just think about some of the health concerns that you and your family have and just jot them down, grab a piece of paper. There's a lot of things you might want to know as we go through this presentation. And then at the end, I'll tell you a little bit more about how to get these oils, how to sample these oils, and then how to get them into your home so that you can try them and see if they work for you and your family. So, what are essential oils? It seems like they're this big fad, right? But in reality, they've been around for thousands of years. Before modern medicine, we used plant medicines, which have been used all the way back, The Egyptians used them. There's if you read in the Bible, there's tons of references to using frankincense, myrrh, hyssop, cedar, all kinds of plants that were used for various things, for health and not for ceremony, for health, for all kinds of things that these plant medicines were used for. We as a Western culture have just sort of awoken to all of this again around 2005 or beginning of the century here, and it's become a resurgence, and I love this. And I want to just tell you too that I come from a very medical family. My father's a doctor, and my mother's worked in medical field for a long time. I have tons of aunts, uncles, and cousins who work in it. So I've been surrounded by Western medicine for a very long time. And by no means am I discrediting Western medicine. There's definitely a time and place for it. But what I've learned too about the body and anatomy and physiology and how we're made as humans is that we are beautifully made, and our bodies are made to heal. Our bodies want to heal themselves, and they do that really well when we give them the right things to heal. And so these products from doTERRA, these plant medicines, and other products that they make from plants are the support that our bodies need to heal and to bring our bodies back into balance. So I'm a huge proponent of not just throw a pill at the problem, but let's get to the root of the problem. Let's fix the root of the problem so that it gets fixed really well, really effectively, and it builds immunity, it builds strength and resilience on a cellular level. And that's what these plant medicines do. And I'll explain that in a second too. So the oils, as I keep saying, plant medicines, plant medicines. So the oils come, they're naturally they're extracted from plants, stems, leaves, flowers, roots of plants from all over the world. Doterra sources these oils from plants in their native habitats, and they do co-sourcing with farmers. They're very environmentally conscious and aware, very ethically aware of how they work with farmers. And so they take these naturally occurring aromatic compounds, there's constituents in the plants that actually help the plants, protect them from environmental threats, bacterias, things that would harm the plants. We extract that. So like, for instance, I have this, excuse me, I have this peppermint stem here, and I bought this because I plan to make a drink with this later. But doTERRA will take, in the peppermint leaves here, there's little oil sacs, and that's how we extract the oils, is from the plant. So they become actually 50 to 70 times more powerful than just a dried herb. So for instance, 1 drop of peppermint oil, which I have here, is equal to 28 cups of peppermint tea. So they're super potent, super concentrated, and that makes them really effective and actually very cost effective. So 1 little drop of peppermint oil is just pennies, So, excuse me. So the thing that, so we have all these plants that are sourced from these places all over the world that doTERRA uses, and just a little bit about the company. It's right now, it is the #1 essential oil company in the world. I think there's 6 or 7 million users right now, and it's growing. It's a $1 billion a year company and growing fast. We're in, I think, oh gosh, I forget how many countries. We're in a lot of countries. It's been voted by Forbes as one of the best employers of the year. And we always say it's not just an essential oil company, although the basis of it is started in these amazing plant medicines, therapeutic medical grade plant medicines, but they have so many other products that support our wellness. And at the end of the day, it's a company that's really built on helping us become very, to take charge of our health and be very proactive about our medical care. So doTERRA believes very much that there's this pyramid of wellness. And one of the things that attracted me to this company is that I believe this too, and I've been living this for a long time. So it starts with eating right? Because we are what we eat. So what we put into our bodies gets used or not used, wasted, and it's going to, whatever good nutrients we put in our body is going to be used to help us keep that immunity, to build our systems, to keep out free radicals. So eating right is really important. Exercise, of course, very important for managing stress, for staying fit, for keeping all the systems of our body working properly. And then, of course, rest. We need good rest. And there's so many people who are not getting good rest, good sleep every night, especially now, especially this year. It's been a very stressful year for most people. So doTERRA has these great products and oils that help support us getting better rest, falling asleep, staying asleep, getting that deep sleep that we need to really restore our body and to really help us manage stress. And then the next level on the pyramid is just reducing our toxic load. And this is where I came in about 10 years ago, as I was doing the other stuff. I was eating right, I was exercising, I was getting good rest, but I realized that I started to research, and realize we are just sort of living in a chemical soup of toxins. My husband and I did this really deep blood work when we were trying to get pregnant and work on our fertility, and found that our bodies, our systems were laden with chemicals, arsenic, lead, toxic things. And so we started on this journey to really get those out of our body and out of our cells. And a lot of that has to do with how you create your environment, what you take into your body, what you put on your body, and what you put in your home, in your car, in your workplace, controlling what sort of chemical toxic load that you allow yourself to live in. And after we did that for a few years, we saw a drastic reduction in the amount of toxicity that was in our bodies. And as we were restoring them with great supplements, great food, different kinds of products, different sort of cleaning products, different products we used on our skin, we were able to really change that about our physicality. And then the last couple of things that Doterra really promotes, and this is why I decided to become a wellness advocate, is informed self-care, proactive medical care. Again, I'm not discounting Western medicine. I definitely use it, and there's a time and place for it, but I don't want to have to use it. I want to try other things first. I want to try natural things, natural solutions, because I know there's no side effects to them. They're going to work safely and effectively for me. And so I'd really rather become more informed about things I can do first to try to restore my health before having to rely on things that maybe are more pharmaceutical. So just being proactive in medical care too, also looking down the line, saying, what are the things that might happen to me, or things that as I age that are going to happen, and how can I walk into those journeys and those stages as healthy as can be, and be proactive about staying healthy and keeping healthy. And so with what we wellness advocates do, we do a lot of continuing education. So this isn't about just here, go buy an oil and try it and use it. It's really about a long-term game plan for educating. We offer free continuing education all the time on a myriad of topics. In fact, at 11 o'clock on Zoom, we're doing a women's health and hormones class, and how we can walk through all the stages of our health and hormonal stages in life with natural solutions. And we do things on skincare, on toxic load, on cooking. Let's see, I'm sure I'm missing many because we have lots of different classes, but they're always coming up. Every week we have a new one. And so just being proactive about that medical care is going to go a long way for us in the future. So that's a little bit about the company, why I love them. So let's talk now about oils. How are we going to use these oils, and how are we going to use them safely and effectively? So there are 4 kinds of essential oils that are out there. There's your synthetic grade oils. These are basically chemicals. They're synthetic, which means not real. They are made in a lab, and for the most part, they're toxic because they're made of chemicals. You're going to find these in like your Walgreens, your dollar stores, your places where they're going to be very cheap. They're going to be very inexpensive. And the reason they're inexpensive is because they're not pure, and they're chemical. So they're not going to be effective either, and they're not safe. So then we have our food grade essential oils, which are the ones you're going to find in your grocery store. So your almond oil, your peppermint oil, your orange oil, and those are made specifically for using in food. That's great. Most of the time, those are also going to be chemically made or artificially flavored. Little hat here, the oils that Doterra, most of the oils that Doterra has, a good portion of them are so pure and safe. They're great for internal use, which means you can cook with them. So we'll get into that in a second, but there's no need then to buy those oils at the store, because you're going to have an orange oil on your shelf that you can use. The other day I made a Thai red curry, and I didn't have lime in the house. I didn't have an actual lime, so I pulled off my lime essential oil, and I put 2 drops in, and it was amazing. It was so delicious. The third type of essential oil that's out there is what is labeled the therapeutic grade, or organic, certified organic grade essential oil. You're going to find these in your Whole Foods, your organic grocery kinds of places where you would buy that, maybe online. It's being touted as therapeutic organic. The FDA does not regulate essential oils, so anybody can put that label on it. The thing is, it may have fillers in it. It may have other oils added to it. It's not, for the most part, it's not going to be regulated, and it's not going to be very pure. And the fourth type of essential oil is Doterra's certified pure therapeutic grade oil. And each oil that they create goes through 3 very rigorous testing systems. They do 2 in-house testing systems, and they have a third party that tests the oils. And if you look on the bottom of each oil, I'll put that up there, you will you will see a batch number on top and an expiration date on the bottom. So that batch number tells you exactly what batch it came from. They hold those batches in, a portion of those batches in a storage. They always keep them in case they need to, something happens, they need to go back and retest them. They give them expiration dates. It's usually 3 to 4 years. Very long time for usage. So these, they're guaranteed to be safe and effective. And if there's any problems with an oil or product you get from Doterra, you can bring it back to the company for a full refund. All right, those are the types of oils we have. How to use them. That's the thing, right? I have so many people say, I have all these oils, I've got all these oils, but I don't know what to do with them. They're just kind of sitting there, and it just breaks my heart because there's so many great ways to be using them. And it really just takes a little education, and that's why I'm here, and that's why we're all here. There's lots of great resources we have. So first of all, let's talk about aromatic use. There's 3 ways to use them: aromatically, topically, and internally. And I just want to make a disclaimer that I would only say internally with Doterra's oils because I know their purity and quality standards. And I'll show you how you can tell if you can use an oil internally when we get there. So first of all, aromatically. So aromatically, right in the air. This does more for us than just put a pretty scent into the air. So aromatic use, you can breathe them in. There's a couple different ways you can breathe them in. If you're kind of on the go and you just need a little pick-me-up, you can take a little drop. This is a drop of peppermint oil. Just rub it in your palms and inhale. Make a little cup and inhale. Oh my goodness, I love to do this in the morning or before I'm working, or kind of in that midday slump where I'm just like, oh, I need to pick me up. I need to wake up my brain. It's great for before you exercise. And you can just rub the extra on the back of your neck, or for me, the front of my neck, because that helps with my sinuses, and it provides this really awesome cooling effect. So that's one way to get a quick fix, to inhale them. Of course, another way that most people do or are familiar with is the diffuser, right? So it's so much better than like synthetic candles or those plugins. This is just water and essential oils. So you're just taking off, you're putting the water in there, you're adding a couple drops of your essential oil. Diffusers run anywhere from 2 hours to 10 hours, sometimes longer. So you can just keep a steady stream of that aromatic compounds of that oil flowing through your house or your office or your car or the baby's room or the kids' room or the pet's room. And let me tell you how it works, because there's actually a science behind these oils. 2 things. So, and I love this because I love science. So if you think about our cell, like pretend this is our cell. Our bodies are made of cells, and every cell has a fatty membrane around it. Well, that's to protect the cell so that things can't pass in and out, but they do. Viruses pass into the cell. Bacteria surround the cell. So if you have a virus that's in that cell, you want to get rid of that because it's just going to duplicate that virus, and that's how we get sick. Now, essential oils are fatty, so they are able to pass through the membrane of that cell, get into that cell, and start to work on a cellular level to restore that cell, to sort of, quote unquote, attack that virus, take care of that virus. There's certain oils that are antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. So they get in there and they work on getting rid of that virus. They work on restoring that cell, regenerating that cell, so that when that cell duplicates, it's a healthy cell. So that is the cool thing about essential oils, is they actually have a physical, biological way, scientific way that they work within our bodies. Now, when you inhale an essential oil, let's see if I can kind of show you this image. I've written all over it, but this is your brain. And this is the limbic system in your brain. So the limbic system controls things like blood pressure, emotions, heart rate, breathing, memory, hormone balance. That's a lot. It controls a lot of things that are going on in our system. So when we breathe in an oil, when I go like this, when I'm diffusing and those aromatic compounds and constituents are getting into my environment, that essential oil is going up, hitting my olfactory bulb, and then circulating to the amygdala, which is the seat of emotion in my brain, and also the hippocampus, which is the seat of memory. So it's triggering those two things, which changes our mood, right? So it's not only good physically, but mentally and emotionally. An essential oil can change your mood within 20 seconds. It's going to hit that system, that limbic system, and be able to change things that are happening in that system. Same with the physical parts, right? The blood pressure, the hormones, the breathing, the heart rate. Breathe in that essential oil. Within about 20 seconds, it's starting to work and change. Lower, if your heart's racing, lower that. If your breathing is racing, lower. Start to balance what's going on. So it's and if you think about too, the hippocampus being the seat of memory, our sense of smell is so tied to our memories. You can smell something, right, that you haven't smelled in a long time, that might immediately bring you back to a memory you had as a child, or a memory of a place you were at with your best friend or a spouse. So smells are one of the only things that can like immediately trigger that memory so quickly and just bring us right there. So a little bit of science on essential oils. So that's aromatic use. All right, topical use. Topical use of essential oils. Wonderful, wonderful. So I'm going to show, let's see. There's so many ways to use them topically. Let's start with on the feet, bottoms of the feet. Maybe you guys have seen this chart. If you've ever done reflexology, you've probably seen this chart. The theory being that every part in our feet is related to a system and an organ in our body. So when you are rubbing those essential oils onto your feet and working them into your feet, a couple things are happening. Number one, the feet have the biggest pores in the body, and it's the largest source of getting to all of your organs at once. So a lot of people, and myself included, if I'm feeling just maybe a little under the weather, or I'm trying to get to sleep, or whatever it is I'm working on for the day health-wise, I will rub these oils onto the bottom of my feet, and rub my feet together and go to sleep. This is a great thing to do with babies and kids. My sister-in-law, when my nephew was younger, would suffer a lot from respiratory croup and things like that, and especially in the winter, and she started rubbing a blend of a protective blend called On Guard onto his feet and the rest of the kids' feet every night before bed, and was amazed at the results, that he really stopped getting so sick, stopped having that all the time. So just a little practice, and you can do this even if you're not feeling sick. It's very preventative. So just a little practice like that every night. You just maybe keep the oil or the roller ball by your bed and just quick roll it on your feet before you go to bed. I do one for sleep. I don't usually have a lot of trouble with sleep, but sometimes staying asleep or waking up in the middle of the night. And so I'll roll a blend onto the bottoms of my feet before I go to bed, and I'll put my diffuser so that I'm getting it like through my system. I'm also getting it aromatically into the room. And those are definitely the nights I sleep a lot better. So a couple tips on using them externally, using them topically. You can, adults, because we're adults and our systems are strong, we can take something like, this is my little lavender blend. We can take an oil and we can put it right onto our skin, any part of our body, and we can rub it in. And like if I had sunburn right now with this lavender, that would just take it right away. Within 24 hours, any pain, redness, soreness would be completely dissipated. I did that once I burned my hand on the stove, and I was like, it was just a dumb mistake, and I immediately started putting lavender on the burn on my finger, and I just kept doing that like every 5 minutes, and after a half hour, the pain was completely gone, the redness, and the next day it was just like this little blister, and then it was gone. It just kind of like peeled off and it was gone. It was definitely a second-degree burn. One of the things about using an oil topically like this is that, just neat as we call it, is that about 40% of it flashes off because it is an aromatic compound. So what we really love to recommend is that you use it with a combination of fractionated coconut oil. Works great. I love grapeseed oil. You could do jojoba oil, almond oil, pick the oil of your choice. But when we mix it with an oil, then the flash off stops and it gets into our skin. It helps just maintain all that oil gets deep into our skin. We're working it into our system, and of course that's more cost effective as well. Now you can make your own roller balls, or Doterra also sells roller balls of some of their products, which I love. I'm a huge fan of past tense because a lot of times I get little headaches like around my neck, or like sleep wrong, and so like just knots and stuff, and or I'm always hunched over the computer writing. So I use this. So basically it's a blend of oil and fractionated coconut oil. It has a little roller ball. And I'll just rub it on to my little knots in my neck. It's cooling. It smells a little bit like basil, but wintergreen and camphor and peppermint, and it has kind of this like warming, cooling sensation to it that I really love, and it just gets in there and starts to work so good. So I have a lot of these little roller balls. I'll keep them in my purse, my car, by the side of my bed, my office. They make them in kids versions, which are amazing. I love the little kids versions because they clip onto backpacks and things like that. Teach your kids how to self-care from a young age. All right, and then the last way we can use them is internally. I get very excited about this because there just aren't any other oil companies who do this and do this so well. But I always say that the true test of an effective pure oil is that you can eat it. So, for instance, lavender, you can eat Doterra's lavender. And how I know that is because on the bottle it says supplemental facts. And that is my cue, and that tells me this is an internally digestible oil. It is safe to use internally. Peppermint, same thing. I can use it internally. I can cook with it. I can make drinks with it. I can take it internally. Okay, how do we do that? So we could, and I do this a lot. Here's my peppermint again. This for me is just the fastest way because a lot of times I don't have a lot of time. So I'll just put a drop on my hand and lick it. So good. Or I'll just put a drop under my tongue. I do that a lot with frankincense and On Guard because they're huge immunity boosters. Frankincense is also like a mood grounding kind of oil. So if I'm feeling stressed or anxious, we just need to calm down and think through something, I'll just put a drop under my tongue. You can also put them in water. I do this with my lemon. Every morning I have my metal water bottle and I fill it up with ice and I put a drop of lemon into, or two. Woo! I love this lemon. It's so pure. I keep it right in the kitchen so that I don't have to go looking for it. Drop it in my water bottle, shake it up, I'm done for the day. Lemon is uplifting, emotionally uplifting, but it's also great for digestion and great for detoxing the liver, the kidneys. So every day, kind of filtering that through my system and detox, 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 kind of a continual process. The other thing you can, there's two more ways internally. Doterra has a lot of products that come in soft gels. Woo! Here's an example of one of theirs. Serenity, a restful complex. There's an essential oil Serenity, but then they also put this in a soft gel. So a lot of people will pop this about a half an hour before bed if they're having trouble sleeping. It doesn't make you sleepy, so you can take it during the day if you're feeling anxious or just unrestful about something, or you need to just calm down. Or you've been watching too much news. You just take one of these Serenity gel caps and just sort of levels the mood and calms and relaxes and helps that brain from, you know, sometimes it's just the thoughts racing, and keeps us, gets us to sleep faster and helps keep us to sleep. There's many, there are a lot of other soft gel supplements that they sell that have the essential oils in them. Now, another thing, the last thing you can do internally is what I love to do, especially during like cold and flu season, these veggie caps. Okay, these are veggie caps. They are empty vegetable capsules. They look like this, right? So there's nothing in them. They're vegetarian, vegan. So you just open it up and then you fill it with it takes probably about 8 to 10 drops of oil. So whatever blend compound that you want to take internally, or if you don't like the taste of something, and some of our oils are hot, we call them hot oils, and you should not be taking them just on the tongue because you'll go through the roof. I've done this. It's not a pleasant experience. So sometimes during cold and flu season, if I just want a little extra support, or if I've been traveling, or I just feel like, maybe I'm just like the hint of something coming on, I will take a gel cap and I will make a little, what they call flu bomb. Let's see if I can get these up here, which has I have to master this yet. On Guard, which is our protective blend, and Thyme, which is huge antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, amazing oil, and then our oregano, also really antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral, and I'll put that combination in this veggie cap, and I will start taking it probably like every 2 hours, every 2 to 4 hours for several days, 3 to 4 days, and I've done this before in the past where I was just feeling a little bit like, oh, maybe something's coming on, and I think one night I was like, yeah, I'm just feeling a little draggy. I started doing this regimen, went to bed early, slept like a good 12 hours, woke up the next day feeling fine. Just kept doing it because I wanted to just make sure I knocked out whatever was going on. So it's not to say that maybe you won't get sick, but if you do get sick and you start doing a regimen like this, again, you're supporting your body to fight that, so it's going to be less severe and it's going to probably be in your system a lot shorter of a time. It's just more of a blip instead of really like laying you flat. All right, those are our uses. Ways to use. A couple safety tips. I've touched on one. If hot oils, hot oils are like cinnamon, cassia, oregano, thyme. These oils you really don't want to put on your skin unless you dilute them. You don't want to take them internally unless you put them in a veggie cap. You want to be a little careful about that. Citrus oils, grapefruit, wild orange, lemon, those are photosensitive. So if you put those on your skin, just be careful. Either cover up your skin if you go out into the sun, or just wait a couple hours after topical use before you go out into the sun. It could cause sunburn. Dosage and safety for adults versus children and babies. So for babies, let's start with babies. Babies and children, you always want to dilute the oils because their systems are smaller. And so for babies, especially, like let's say you are making a little roller ball for the baby you would want to do a 1/3 to 2/3. So 2/3 fractionated coconut oil to 1/3 essential oil. For instance, there's a great combination of Roman chamomile with fractionated coconut oil that's really nice for teething. You can put it on the outside of the jaw, so you'd want to do a 1/3 to 2/3 ratio. When you get into toddler, childhood, you can break that down more to 50-50, 50% fractionated coconut oil and 50% essential oils. Okay. And then adults. Adults, we can, of course, stand a lot less dilution. So for me, if I were making a roller ball, and I just made one for a friend with a blend that she really needed, so I did 50-50 for her, but I used 50% fractionated coconut oil, and then it was a blend of oils, and I think it was at least, they were very strong oils, very potent, but I wanted it to be strong because I really, she's dealing with some things that were really intense, and so I wanted to make sure it was strong enough that it really got in and had an effect. So I did about 50-50 for her on that. Dosage. This is really going to depend on what you're dosing for, which is why you have people like us to help guide you. And there are great resource books out there like this one, Modern Essentials. There's also Essential Life, but these go ailment by ailment, and it tells you what oils are good. So like, let's say you have arthritis. It'll tell you what are the great oils for really supporting that arthritis and relieving that pain. And then it'll tell you the dosage for that. We always recommend less is more because the oils are so pure and effective. Start less and then increase. So start with a couple drops, see how it works. If you're not feeling an effect, then add. And also, we have to talk a bit about consistency because a lot of people try oils. Maybe they try it for a day, maybe two, and they're like, it didn't work. Well, let's talk about consistency in any sort of medication that we have. If you have an antibiotic, for instance, or some other medication that you're taking, when you take that medication, there are some antibiotics you take twice a day, some you take once a day, some you take 4 times a day. So same with essential oils. You have to have consistent use for it to start working on the cells and the cell turnover. So I always recommend, if you're dealing with an issue, do it for at least a week. Try at least a week and see how it's working. And just like medications, not all essential oils work the same for every person because our body chemistries are different. Our makeup is different. So again, back to the pharmaceutical medical example, if you're trying a certain antibiotic and you go into the doctor and you're like, yeah, it's not clearing up this infection, he gives you the prescription and you try it, and then after 3 days it's not doing anything, you don't just toss the antibiotic, or you might, but you don't just stop and say, oh, well, it's not working. Okay, well, I guess I'll just live with it. No, you call the doctor and you say, this antibiotic is not working. We need to try something else. And he prescribes something else. And then you try that for a couple days and you see if it works. So it's the same thing with these plant medicines. We really encourage you to keep trying. So if something isn't working, if something's working great, and most of the time that does happen, but there's times when you try something and it just doesn't work right away. So don't just discount it and say, oh, this is junk science, this isn't working. Talk to me, talk to a wellness advocate, research, look things up, get some education, and we'll get the next thing for you to try. Because our goal is healing, right? Our goal is self-healing, natural healing, and we want to support that. I want to support that. That's a huge passion of mine. So, we've talked about safety. We've talked about ways to use it. We've talked about the types of oils. Now I want to talk really quickly about the last thing. Get my notes here. If I can find them. The last thing I just want to mention is, okay, so you're interested, how do you get these oils into your house? So I'll tell you a little bit about how Doterra works as a company, and then I want to make an offer to you. So Doterra There are 3 ways to buy doTERRA products. We are a direct distribution company, so products are always purchased through wellness advocates. So if you're interested in trying a product, you can buy it retail, which some people do. Well, I don't recommend it because you're paying full price. And after you buy about 2 to 3 oils or 2 to 3 products, it's not cost effective for you because the second option to purchase these oils is through wholesale membership. doTERRA works on a wholesale membership just like Costco. So we have a $35 a year membership that gets you 25% discount on every single product. And after that year, the next year, you pay 25 bucks, but you get a free peppermint oil. So honestly, it's basically, the membership is free after the first year. So it's this one-time fee of $35 to join the wholesale membership. There are no obligations, no monthly subscription services you have to do. You can buy at your leisure. There is a third way that you can buy, and that is below wholesale. And that's how I purchase. That's how I recommend most people to purchase. And if you decide to learn more and to maybe enroll down the line, I'll tell you a little bit more about how you can take advantage of that. So my offer for you today is, if this sounds interesting to you, if there's something in your life health-wise you want to work on that you've been dealing with for a while, maybe it's digestion, maybe it's sleep, maybe it's pain, anxiety. I think we're all dealing with anxiety, arthritis. I mean, it could be many, many things, weight concerns. If you are dealing with something, I would love to send you a little goodie package of samples so that you can start trying a product that is suited for your needs. So message me after you watch this video and we'll get a conversation going so I can help you find the right samples to try for your conditions and what you're trying to work on. So, all right, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if this is of interest to anyone else you know, please share the good news. So, have a beautiful day.